Just kind of getting things set up, guys. Give me just a second. Almost ready to go. The dashboard for this is real touchy. Alright, so just playing some more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We left off right before the shield maze last time, so that is where we are going to continue.
I'm gone. We do it my way.
Okay, so this is the entrance to the shield maze, which is right next to the mongrel village. And this is like the first tutorial dungeon, if you will.
I hope you appreciate this.
So this is also a good place, like right at the beginning of this dungeon, to find weapons that you actually have proficiency in. Because right after this first room here, there's a bunch of weapon racks you can find that will usually have something you can actually use.
I am helpful, am I not?
Alright, so this is a cool thing that was added recently. Sometimes the traps have triggers that are away from the actual trap. So you just have to hit the pressure plate or whatever it's connected to. Which is usually pretty simple, but sometimes they put it like way away from where it actually is.
Huh? What's that? I'll bathe in your blood!
I hope you appreciate this.
So we can learn from some of the lore religion checks as we go throughout this place that there's clearly some demon worship going on. If you weren't catching some of those lore religion checks that were being made.
I found, something.
These paintings right here are actually important, specifically the colors of them, but we'll double back to that later at the appropriate time.
Save the last one for me.
Don't hold back!
You can ask her or Laine, whoever's with you, if they actually know these mongrels that are corrupted and trying to kill you. According to her, they're just insane. But she's still going to lead us to the surface, which will get us out of these caves below Canabras.
Am I not?
This will be quick!
I might have a bugged enemy here. He is not dying. Ah, there he goes. That was weird. This is on normal, so he really shouldn't have that much health. Alright, so these weapon racks are a good place to find a weapon. So there's a dueling sword, which is important because we can put that on our main character who is having a chosen weapon of a dueling sword. And we'll heal up Sela real quick. My cat's in the other room making noise. And we can see here there's another trigger for a trap, which is actually in the next room, which is what I mentioned about them actually being a little more complicated than necessarily right next to the trap sometimes. But there is that red line on the ground that's pretty easy to follow in most cases.
I hope you appreciate this.
I crave your commands.
Aha! A test of my abilities.
No match for me.
I heed the voice of the spirits.
Magnesium Turinos. They will break against our resolve.
This guy and one other enemy not too far from here can be a bit of a pain. Yeah, so we just put our Velociraptor on the ground. Which is fine, truthfully, if he's gonna put somebody down. It's best it's him. Because they're a little easier to heal up. Ring of protection, I believe.
Together, we stand.
A lot of this random junk we find is actually ingredients for the crafting, which is part of the rest menu. Kind of clutters up your inventory pretty bad though after a while. There's a lot of that stuff.
What's that there?
I am helpful, am I not?
Hold on just a second, guys. Ah, there it is. Yeah, so part of the learning process here, I had the wrong chat window brought up. Because that figures. So to get caught up real quick. Ryan asked how much content is in the beta. It's about half the game right now. You can get all the way up to chapter 4, I believe. You can't go into chapter 5, but that is roughly half the game. I don't have like the exact numbers, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. And to answer Oscar's question, yeah, Camilla is actually a shaman. She's a spirit hunter specifically.
I'll cut you wide open.
Yeah, Ryan asked like 60 hours, or give or so, or in terms of content. In terms of the like full game, I would imagine it's probably in that ballpark. The first like 4 chapters, for me personally, was like 30 or 40. But people always tell me I play games a lot faster than they do, so take that with a grain of salt, I guess.
There's something here.
So that was a hand of Hasilla, and then that person drops Hasilla's orders. And Hosilla would seem to be the boss of these cultists that have inhabited the shield maze. Because remember, the town above us is being attacked by cultists and demons.
Rely on me.
But we're going to make use of our wand of Cure Light Wounds real quick and get everybody healed up. Because of a bad formation there, I took a ton of damage. Like half of my people were stuck in the door, so I wasn't really doing anything. Alright, there we go. Now we're in business.
I'm gone.
Okay. There should be 2 more people in here, but we're going to make a quick save. DeVito Frito donated $5. Big thank you. Is the last beta still super buggy? Seems like I've been hitting more bugs than in the past. Which adventure should they cover for the next Pathfinder game? It's a little buggy. When it launched, it was actually pretty bad. Like this particular update, you couldn't get out of like Dresden hardly ever. And then they hotfixed most of that. It's been pretty good since then. I've only ran into like a couple. In terms of Pathfinder adventures, I'm actually kind of curious about the one they're working on right now, which is like this Teacher's Academy type thing for like mages and stuff. So kind of interested in that one. Personally, I'm not super familiar with all of the adventure paths by any means, so I don't pretend to know about a ton of them. Now this room right here, if you have Winda Ook open, she'll pick the lock for you. Now if she's not with you, you can just pick the lock. Despite what she says here, it's not that bad. But if you have her with you, she'll just open it for you automatically, because apparently she has the key. And then we can pick the lock, but this room right here is
Am I not?
a room you definitely want to get into, just for future reference, because this right here, this scale mail, it's actually Crypt Raider's armor, I think is what it's called when it's identified. That's actually pretty good. And then I put it on whoever can use medium. So for right now, it's going to be Camilla, because she is actually up front. We actually get a better one than that pretty well, fairly early on if you know what you're doing in the next act, because this is like the prologue, so Act 1. And then, that said, that's still a pretty good piece of armor. Shile asked, how is the game in terms of balance compared to Kingmaker? The first game, sometimes they went overboard with DCs. So far it seems okay. Balance, they're still tweaking things on like the high and low end here and there, but I would say the middle road on normal feels pretty solid. I haven't really had any complaints. And then Juan says he's just checking in, looking forward to the release. Me too. Ryan asked if I think it'll be ready for next month or will it have a rocky start. I think it'll be better than Kingmaker's start was, because Kingmaker was pretty bad in terms of a buggy release. But overall, I think it'll definitely be better than that. There is supposed to be a room with a water elemental around here somewhere, which is like supposed to be where all this water is coming from. For the life of me, I don't see the door anywhere. Strange. Yeah, I'm not that worried about it. That water, if it's actually in there at release, that water elemental sucks. It's usually the strongest like individual thing in this dungeon. But that brings us back to the main path over here. That like whole little area we were just in is like a little side tangent.
We will win this war.
So these next 2 rooms, you want to be careful about actually getting your main person in there first, like the tank or whatever, because there's actually quite a few cultists in these rooms, and so you kind of want them focusing on the right person.
Today's sacrifice.
DeVito donated another $5. Gee, thank you. Will you be doing build guide videos post-launch? What is your favorite and least favorite companion? I'm definitely going to be doing build guides post-launch. I don't know, like I'll probably do like a difficulty recommendation for each of them, because like once you start min-maxing, personally that gets really boring. But I personally do like to play around with like certain concepts. So I will definitely be doing something for that, for sure. And then what is my favorite and least favorite companion? My favorite so far is probably Windu there. She's just really cool. And then my least favorite,
if you dare.
probably Social. He's just not very interesting, to be honest. I haven't liked any of his quests or anything.
I hope you appreciate this.
All right, so this room as well. This room right here is like a little side room. Same thing.
No reason to pause.
It's really, really cramped, and there's like 2 enemies like right there.
Together we stand.
So it's best to open the door with your tank, walk in, and then draw them out. And then get them stuck in the door instead.
You should have run!
These champions just seem to have a ridiculous amount of health. I don't remember them having so many HP before this. Brian C. asks, have you noticed any of the characters from Kingmaker making an appearance at all, or is this a separate adventure? It's a separate adventure. There's a couple NPCs that are recurring, but that's about it. And then... yeah. Alright, so we're all caught up. Shoot. So yeah, that little room, like, there's only 2 enemies in there, but God, I hate that so much. They're just cramped, and they get stuck in the doorway, like, every time. And then they dropped this almost new diary, which is a cultist complaining about being a cultist serving Baphomet, which at the very least lets us know who they're worshipping if you didn't pass the lore religion check at the beginning of the shield maze that shows Baphomet's relief.
Interesting. I'm off.
This is random, but like when I first played the beta, this specific heavy flail had a messed up like tooltip or whatever, so like you only saw the like little flail end, like the chain ball or whatever, which is just like one of the very first things I reported playing the beta, and they fixed it, which is just pretty cool. Just a weird side note. Okay, so we'll grab just Camila so we don't wind up running over this trap. Camilla makes a really good Camilla. I have no idea. Pronunciation is not my game if you guys haven't figured that out yet. But she has skill-focused trickery, just like right off the bat at level 1, which makes her really good at picking locks. Zat R says, love your videos. You mentioned Tyranny, one of your vids, one of my favorite CRPGs. Sad it won't get a sequel. It is sad that Tyranny won't get a sequel. That is a really great game. I don't think that gets nearly as much credit as it deserves. From what I understand, it undersold or whatever, but that is just honestly a tremendous CRPG. It's really good for what it is.
I do what I must. This will be quick. This will hurt.
And then Kathy says, love the channel. Really appreciate your work on this beta so far. Can you talk about your current character and build a bit? Yeah, sure. I actually made a video about the build I'm using for my main character right quick. We can go over it. So Sword Saint right now, which is a Magus, and then later on, we'll pick up Duelist if we actually get that far, which will be like a Sword Saint Duelist, which comes together really well. Obsidian did make Tyranny, yeah, Ryan. So Sword Saint, it lets you choose a chosen weapon, which for right now we're going for a dueling sword. And then this will give you proficiency in whatever it is. And then it'll make you not suffer like arcane spell failure chance and stuff when you're using your mega spells in your weapon, and then as well as giving you canny defense, which gives you your intelligence bonus per mega's class level as a dodge bonus to your armor class. So it'll give you a ton of AC without wearing armor. And then that pairs really well with the duelist, which I don't have the ability to bring up right now, but that is a prestige class that focuses around similar things with like a dexterity-based weapon, like our dueling sword, for instance. So that's kind of where we're going, but right now it's just a Magus sword sync. Alright, so there's a big pool of blood, that's always interesting. And then just open this door.
I'm gone.
You can trust me.
Mila grab.
I am helpful, am I not?
We'll make a quick save just in case. DeVito asks, is Winda to Thunder? I have no idea what that. Heard the tick is to pick good options for dialogue to get best romance. RPG is the only way to do story-driven RPG today. Windu's just a mongrel, which is a type of corrupted human, basically, but mongrel. In terms of romances, as far as I know, you just have to pick like certain dialogue options for each particular character. You can actually romance the queen, but that requires a little more subtlety, should you say. You actually have to pick, like the queen, at least the queen, I don't know about everyone else, the queen actually like responds to like your mythic path choices a little bit. That said, she's only in like one chapter, so it's hard to say like for sure where that's going to end up, but she at least does. Alright, so right through these doors and a couple others are some annoying enemies. There's another Hand of Facilla if you didn't kill the other one. And then these two aren't too bad, but there's two side rooms like right near here that both have enemies that are really annoying. So this Hand of Facilla will have Facilla's key, which is something you need to advance to the end of the shield mage, or the shield maze rather. And then drops another one of Facilla's orders, but that's a note we'll have already picked up, chances are.
Rely on me.
Their life ends here.
I'll rip you apart! Remember my name!
This will leave blues.
I hope you appreciate this.
Alright, and that brings us to this door. Not close it again.
Let me
That's when we start running into the Cambians.
I'll cut you loose.
Just sit here.
Oh man,
Don't worry about
should have
me.
healed CeeLo.
They'll beg me to stop.
Could this happen?
I think Winter's blocking the door there. Yeah. That's really annoying. Well, a couple annoying things right there. I didn't heal up, which is really my fault, and then Windu got caught in the door, which kept our pet from coming in.
What's that there?
So we're about to do a rest.
Follow if you dare.
I am helpful, am I not?
That said, That half plate should be better for her to be wearing. And we'll throw padded armor on her. That'll give her slightly better, yeah. She can wear like medium armor. I just haven't found anything yet. At least I wasn't paying attention if I did anyway. Alright. And then we'll rest to get everybody back up, which should be easier than trying to heal them all. With any luck, we won't be attacked. An entire day. Jeez. 2 days and 9 hours. That seems ridiculous, but alright. Okay.
I am helpful, am I not?
I'm off.
Alright, more Cambions.
Strike!
Save the
Should be
last
another
one
one
for
over
me.
here. Which, if you're careful about
Your
it, you
pain is
can
my
kill
pleasure.
these ones one at a time. Oh wow, Jesus. That was a crit and a half. Alright, so this is a puzzle, and the portraits over here actually are the answer. So it's yellow, blue, red, yellow. And that gives us the sword Radiance, which is important and upgradable, actually. Which belonged to the angel Yaniel at one point. Which you can ask about and Silo will kind of tell you, but Yaniel was just somebody who was a famous crusader, basically, not an angel, sorry. I get her and Laniel confused because the names are so similar. But at any rate, this was her sword, which we can give to Sela because it is an upgrade over what she's got. Well, it's basically the same right now, but it will be an upgrade. Catching up on chat for a second. Yeah, so the graphics are definitely improved. I don't think it's an entirely new engine or anything, but they definitely improved quite a bit. And yeah, there will definitely be a couple DLCs. They basically stated as much, and there's a season pass available on Steam right now that they opened up the like pre-orders and everything.
I hope you appreciate this.
Don't really have any information on what those will be, but they'll definitely exist. Alright, and we'll double back to this last room over here. Yeah. Which, if my memory serves, has a large earth elemental. So we're gonna save before that thing definitely probably kills somebody. Yeah. Or a medium earth elemental, my mistake.
Quickens.
Doesn't have a ton of health, but it hits pretty hard comparatively to a lot of things in this dungeon.
We will win this war.
The lay of hand. Real quick.
Well,
There we go. Alright. And that is pretty much everything besides the... Oh my god, I keep closing that door. Okay, so that leads us to what is basically the final room. Or at least the last path in the dungeon, I should say. Not quite the final room.
now what is that?
Alright, so this is a good example. Trap is right here, but the trigger for the trap, if we follow the line, is all the way back over in this room. So we'll grab Camilla, and I believe it's on this wall, if my memory serves. Yeah, there we go. So the trap's over here, but the trigger for it is all the way over here. So that's where you have to go to actually turn it off.
Helpful.
And there's a chest I missed randomly. JC says, wow, a dino. Yeah, there's this is the Velociraptor, and then there's actually a Triceratops as well.
You are today's
This will be
sacrifice!
quick!
Now, Dretches have damage reduction, but they're still not particularly dangerous enemies, even with damage reduction. Okay, so this right here is basically the last room before the end of like the shield maze. So if you wanted to, this is where you could go back to the mongrel village and actually go buy that crazy good armor that vendor over there randomly has, or at least for the start of the game anyway. We're not going to bother with it because nobody in our party actually uses light armor like entirely, so it's not much use to us in terms of just being light armor, but it is really good. But once we head up this staircase, this is like the last room of the prologue dungeon right here. Now, weirdly enough, and I hope they're going to, this particular scene isn't voice acted at all. So I'm hoping they actually voice act this one in particular, because it feels like an important scene, and most of the important scenes are voice acted, but then this one just like randomly isn't. So here we see this demon trying to convince these mongrels to cannibalize someone and embrace their kind of demonic heritage. And there's, of course, Hasilla. Greed asked, would I say the story is good? Yeah, so far I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And Kaki asked, in my experience, is money not a concern in the game if you'll be able to buy what you want without having to loot everything in sight? Personally, it's been okay for the most part. Like, there's a couple instances where you'll like come to Dresden and stuff, which will give you like a bunch of vendors all at once, and then suddenly you might have an issue there. But beyond like specific instances, now money's usually been okay as long as you know what you're buying and you're not kind of ridiculous with it. Greedash, should I play Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous? Kingmaker is a great game with some flaws here and there, and if you look past those, it's a good time, but it can be a lot, honestly. So in our face-off with this demon, I want to mention two things. One, you start up at the top of this like little pillar or whatever, and then they randomly teleport you down here. And I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. And when we're talking to the demon, now we can choose to pick an angel or demon path. Truthfully, this doesn't make much of a difference right here, because again, these are our two base paths that everybody gets regardless, so picking one or the other does not lock you out of one by any means. And then the wound on our chest, which happened when we picked up that sword in the caverns, kind of bursts open, which is gross. But then, regardless of what we pick, the demon here will get scared and run off and leave you to kill Hasilla, or at least Hasilla to kill you. But obviously she's gonna die. Now, interestingly enough, she tries to get Windoog to kill us. At which point, Windoog tells us that she no longer serves Hasilla, and is gonna fight with us. So that's news to us and kind of explains why Windoog knows so much about the shield maze here and there. And then Laine shows back up. Remember, he had left in the caverns in the mongrel village.
Do not fear. Do not.
And that'll give you everyone you need to fight Hasilla, which honestly is probably overkill. Because like she uses a couple of spells, but against like 5 people. Wow, 31 crit, that was ridiculous. And then after that, she'll summon a couple of mephits, I believe. Mephits or imps or something. And then she's basically dead already, because Windoog will kill her out of combat. Or quasits, rather, that's what she summons. And then that is that. And then it fades to black, and then after this,
they didn't have a choice.
We have a conversation between Laine and Windoog.
Keep telling yourself that, Laine. There is always a choice.
Shut up!
So Laine is obviously furious that Windoog has been leading mongrels down here.
They believed your stories, and you lured them to a demon and watched them eat human flesh.
I was trying to make them strong. What have you done for them? What were you doing while I was looking for ways to bring strength to our tribe? You're useless, Laine.
I led by example. I trained. I tried to become stronger so I could go to the surface and maybe do something worthwhile with my stupidly short life. And I will do it. I might be the one to bring our whole tribe to the surface. But you? Why would you want any power that turns you into a monster? These young guys and girls, they trusted you. And they were turned into mindless animals, ready to eat corpses at a demon's command.
So, he mentions it, so I'll actually go into a bit of explanation here. Mongrels lead incredibly short lives. They do okay, and then they suddenly age very rapidly and then die.
I didn't become an animal. I conquered my anger. The anger that has been building and building in every one of us for decades. Unlike you, I have no intention of just lying down and politely accepting death. I will rise above all this, while you'll still be stuck with your pride, chewing on rats. Who do you want at your side? The person who betrayed the demons to follow you? The person who will do everything you say and bring glory to your name? Or this trash?
Alright, so this is actually a bit of a decision. So you either have to have Laine or Windoog with you, or you can pick between one or the other. And the other one becomes unavailable until like chapter 4. So just remember, whoever you pick to come with you. The other one will eventually be available, but like way later. Now you can ask a bunch of questions. You can kind of get more information about how Windu was serving these demons apparently and feeding them mongrels to be corrupted. But at the end of the day,
I hope we're not.
If we're befriending
I'm
monsters
definitely bringing
in order
Windu
to fight
because
the
she is way cooler than Laine is,
Who
because Laine is like
cares
milk
what you
toast.
think? The master has.
You're right.
Yeah, you can attack him,
I
but
know
you
everything.
can't actually kill him.
And I also
keep that in mind.
if
He got away. Don't worry, Lan. I'll get you. Wait here, Master. I will bring Sol and the other Uplanders. We'll make sure that everyone knows that Lan failed to save anyone and fled like a coward.
Okay. So, the chieftain of the mongrels, Sol, comes to basically secure the shield maze and send us off. Anivia was the wounded woman we found in the caverns with Sela. Porgus is, of course, the well-to-do merchant that we met in the mongrel caverns as well. Now, Anivia is like head of the Eagle Watch, and apparently she didn't know about the demons beneath Canabras, and you can ask her about that. You can ask her about her leg. Basically explain that we're good to go here. And that's pretty much it for the prologue dungeon. Alright, and then it's time to leave. Which is just right there. So we'll drop a save real quick and then keep on trucking.
I'm gone.
To the dungeons, the battle on the surface rages on. The warriors of Canabras are trying to defend the Wardstone, but their strength is flagging. Their resistance is valiant, yet it will all be in vain if no one rises up to turn the tide.
Alright, and so that brings us properly to Act 1, or Chapter 1, whatever you want to call it. Which puts us in a building, or a cellar, whatever you want to call it. But all we gotta do is walk up these stairs and walk into this next room. Okay, so this is where we meet Irabeth, who is a paladin of Iomade, and Anivia, here's wife. Okay, so we can ask her a bunch of questions, like, where are
The Grey
we?
Garrison. Until recently, it served as barracks for the Crusaders, but it's now been taken over by cultists. When the demons attacked the city, their main target was the Wardstone. I trust I don't have to explain to you what the Wardstone is and how important it is to the Crusaders. We must retake it at any cost, or the fall of Canabras will be the beginning of the end of the Crusades, and with them, the rest of the world. I see that you had a difficult journey to the surface. You need to rest. But there's a lot riding on this battle. I have no right to command you, but I'm asking you to help us.
Alright, then we can give her a bunch of information, none of which actually does us really any good at the moment. She'll just be like, cool, not really the time though. And then you can ask about the Wardstone.
The Wardstones are a gift of Iomade. Created personally by her herald, a mighty angel, and a general of the Celestial armies. The Wardstones keep the world wound from expanding. They stand along the border of the territory controlled by the demons, creating a barrier to keep them inside. The Canabris obelisk was the first to be placed. It is the key to the whole barrier. We cannot leave it in the hands of those monsters from the abyss.
Okay, then we can ask about the situation in the city.
The city's gone. Most of the defenders, including the dragon Terendelev, fell in the first few hours. The civilians either fled or died in the chaos. The place is overrun with cultists and demons.
Don't talk like that. Canabres hasn't fallen. Not while it still has defenders like you and me.
Sweet words don't change the grim truth.
No, she's right. Thank you, Knight. Until we no longer have the strength to hold a weapon, until Iomedae abandons us, we will fight for Canabris. The demons have long laid siege to Canabris, but this time, their lord Dascari appeared in the flesh. He ripped the ward stone from the ground and hurled it halfway across the city to here. I thought the stone was destroyed, but it seems all is not lost. Yet. Dascari has gone, but the ward stone is surrounded by a horde of those creatures. What are they going to do to it? Nothing good, that's for certain.
But how did he do that? He's a demon! The ward stone should have burned his filthy hide!
It should have. But what happened, happened. We don't know why.
So basically we can learn that the cultists and demons attacked, corrupted the ward stone, which is what keeps the demons confined to the world wound.
That's the
and
spirit.
That they've basically taken over the city.
You, take Anavia to the rear. The rest of you with me. Lord Horgus Gwyrm, forgive me. I did not realize we had civilians among us.
Okay, so we actually can't really explore much of the garrison at the moment. Pretty on rails. But we do have to fight all of these cultists. But we do have a bunch of the Grey Garrison guards with us, so it shouldn't be too bad. For the most part, I'd recommend trying to keep your guys fairly well back and try to let some of these guards actually fight the cultists. Save you some health and healing. But all these other doors that you see, you can't really open, so you kind of just have to go the way they want you to go at the moment.
Ah, not this time.
That sucks. Ah! So, this is where we see the cultists trying to persuade what's left of the defenders to the cult. And they successfully persuade one of them. Aki says, I believe the technical term is meat shielding. Yeah, that's the gist for sure. So right here, you're kind of flanked. You can let the guards and stuff do like one side while you focus on the other, and that's kind of how it's spaced out anyway when you start, so that kind of works out.
No match for me.
But our goal right now is basically to just keep clearing these guys out. These guys are all pretty low health. You just gotta watch out, because there's a lot of them. So it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Excruciating.
A mere flesh wound.
Yeah, so it's awesome for guys.
This is how it feels.
I'm alright.
But that's fine. We'll wrap this up and then rest.
I'll just sit here. Don't worry about me.
So we'll get rested up and then we'll carry on, which is over there. So now that we're out of the prologue, we actually have access to the alchemy and scroll scribing stuff, which is where you would do like your potion and scroll crafting if you had the appropriate feats. Alright. And we make our way up the stairs, and as soon as we do, the path behind us rumbles. Which seems kind of like a weird thing to show you, but it comes up later. Because you'll be returning to the Grey Garrison at some point. So like, right now it doesn't serve any purpose, because it's not like you were going back.
What's this? Do we have guests? Just in time. The place is a bit of a mess, and I haven't even poured the blood into the goblets yet. Why don't you... Oh! What an unexpected surprise! Staunton, my little sweetheart. Long time no see. I've missed you so much. Have you missed me? Admit it. You missed me terribly.
Minago. You again, you wench!
Minago, the one who... Be careful. She's one of the deadliest creatures in the whole demon horde. She was once responsible for a massacre in Knabris. She must be back to finish what she started.
So, Minago, obviously a dangerous demon, Lilitu to be specific, and we can ask Staunton what his relationship with that demon is.
You know me. Staunton, darling. Tell them all how close we were.
That wench? She's the one who led me astray. She's the reason my life has gone to the abyss. She's the reason why Dresden fell.
Oh my, like butter wouldn't melt. What I remember is how eagerly you would run to our trysts, how you begged to see me again, how you promised you'd do anything I asked. By your own free will, you said this. And now you claim that Dresden fell because of me. No, no, my dear. That was entirely your own doing.
I'll beat your lying lips into your filthy throat!
Now, Staunton, don't say things like that. Not about these lips.
The game is not fully voice acted, just parts.
Staunton, dearest, don't you love me anymore? Remember how good we were together? I was so hoping that we could patch things up.
I'll kill you!
Okay. So after that, we are left to fight all these demons. Again, hang back, let the Crusaders deal with most of it.
Into the fray!
What you don't want to do is run up in there. That dress was fine. That made me laugh. Yeah, what you don't want to do is run up in there and get completely surrounded. That's a good way to get wrecked. Not the first time streaming. Not far off from it, though, to be honest. Greed asked, are you going to play King's Bounty 2, and do you know how long the game will be? This game, I think, is going to be like 60-ish hours, probably. King's Bounty 2, I have no idea. I don't know what that is off the top of my head.
Call me again if you need to.
Okay, so that, if we pass the lore religion check, is the symbol of Discari, which is the demon who attacked the city at the very beginning. And then, normally, I would heal up, but it's actually not much of a concern, because all we gotta do is pass this mobility DC. And then we get this.
Congratulations. You made it all the way here. This is it. Your precious ward stone. But what are you planning to do now, I could kill you where you stand. But wouldn't it be nice if you could die in battle like heroes? No. I want you to die in despair, scrabbling around like rats in the blighted ruins of your city, blind and broken, your flesh scabbed and seeping, and every moment knowing precisely what was done to you.
Well, anyways.
There isn't a soul that can resist the temptations of the abyss. Even a stone can be turned. I'm not joking. Your precious ward stone, weakened from the injury inflicted by Discari, has almost succumbed to my charms. Soon the whole barrier around the world wound, the gift of your useless goddess, will be a weapon of the abyss. Just a little more and boom. Every city with one of these eyesores stuck in the middle of it, from Canabras to Nerosian, will turn into smoking craters, and all the mortals into red sludge beneath our hooves. So you have a choice. Especially you, my pet. Kiss me on my dainty hoof. Pledge your loyalty to Baphomet. And when the world falls, its ruins shall be yours.
Okay, so we can ask some questions.
You've already forgotten me.
But truthfully, it just gives you more information, a little bit about her, specifically that she's Lilitu, which is a type of demon, and that she serves Baphomet.
And it was such a charming little...
They've done...
Yes.
But her little monologue there gives you basically everything you need to know. We can ask what she's doing, but she basically already told us.
Prepare to fight!
Now, doing that actually will give you these required demon or angel mythic path options. Truthfully, this ends the same way no matter what. It just kind of changes the exact circumstances. But actually, I think demon mythic path is probably the handy way to go, because you don't have to sit here and fight a pointless fight, basically. Because if you pick these others, what'll happen is you'll get into a fight with everyone here, but she will inevitably win, because this isn't a fight, you can actually win. And then if you pick the demon mythic path, it's just you versus her, which means it's over a lot faster.
Hey, are you all right?
Aha! A test of my abilities. Flesh wound.
That's it. I'm tired of playing around now. You want to know what will happen when I'm done with the ward stone? Here's a little demonstration.
I will dig out holes where your eyes should be, and pour hot coals in them.
How inventive.
Powerless rage. I love it. Threaten me more.
Praise Iomade, you woke up. Healing your wounds was easy. But you were unconscious for so long, I was starting to worry we'd lost you.
So obviously, what happened?
We couldn't stand up to the demoness. Her spells were too strong. It's all right. We'll handle it somehow. You blacked out, but Staunton and I managed to get you here to the Defender's Heart. It used to be a tavern, but now it's our headquarters. We're gathering our forces here, and we're preparing to strike back. Demons have been filling Canabras with their spies and infiltrators for a long time. Unfortunately, I don't have enough people to attack the place right now, at least not blindly. I'd be grateful if you snuck in there and scouted out the situation. But just scouting. Don't be a hero.
Alright, so that was us giving her the information about the cultists that we found in the maze, which unlocks a part of the map. That kind of happens regardless. We can ask about what's going on in the city.
But not hopeless. We're constantly getting news, and new sources of resistance keep springing up in the districts where everyone seemed to be dead. The survivors are gathering here. You should see them. Their faces, their eyes burning with determination. The city is destroyed, but our resistance is not broken. We will keep fighting. You heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the Ward Stone and blow up the whole barrier around the World Wound. That would be an even worse disaster than the World Wound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Canabras, but every city with a Ward Stone will be destroyed, including the capital. We can't allow that no matter what. We will retake it, even destroy it if we must. Iomede's gift must not become a weapon of the Abyss.
Alright, so right there, even if they have to destroy it, they need to do something about the Ward Stone, because if it gets destroyed, it will destroy every city that has a Ward Stone. Well, if it gets blown up through the demon's plans, I should say. So we can ask more about the Ward Stone, but I think everybody gets it at this point. So we have to ask what we can do for them.
First of all, we need to decide what to do with the stone once we get it. What I'm about to say is classified. A traveler came to the city recently. A blind elf calling himself the Storyteller. He insisted he be allowed to examine the Ward Stone, and he raised the alarm when his study was finished. Even before the demon attack, he had found some damage or flaw in the stone. Prelate Hulrun dismissed his words as nonsense, borderline blasphemy. But between you and me, the prelate's opinion isn't worth much. I think the Storyteller knew what he was talking about. We could use his advice right now, if only we knew where he was. I remember the Storyteller spent a lot of time talking to Staunton, a dwarf from my unit. You saw him during the demon attack. The elf asked him about the history of the Crusades. Maybe the Storyteller told Staunton something about where we could find him if anything happened. There's another problem. After the attack, the demons began to gather their forces at the Grey Garrison. It'll be even harder to take them with a head-on assault. But I once heard soldiers talking about a secret entrance to the garrison. Trouble is, I have no idea where to look for it. While you explore the city, please keep your eyes open, in case you find something we can use. And one last thing. The Eagle Watch has lost a lot of soldiers recently. Some were killed, but others simply haven't been seen since the attack. In the chaos that is now Canabras, it's next to impossible to confirm anything for sure. One of the missing fighters is Janna Aldori, a new recruit in the Watch. She got along well with Sela, and she often went drinking with her. I honestly thought Sela and Janna had died together. But now Sela's returned with you, and there's no sign of Janna. If you learn anything of her whereabouts when you're out in the city, please report back.
Alright, so
may the goddess help you. We're still fighting, which means that Canabras still hasn't fallen. If you come across any groups in the city that can fight, send them here to the Defender's Heart. We'll need every fighter we can muster for the final assault. Yes, one more thing. If you're in the area, check out this address. It's our house. Mine and Anevia's. Well, it was our house. If the building is still standing, open the hidden compartment in the kitchen. It's filled with supplies for a rainy day. You can take whatever you find. You have more need of it.
Okay, so now we have a bunch of goals, and we're not done yet. But our main goal is to basically gather defenses, check out the cultists, as well as find the storyteller. Now, this chest at the end of your bed is your personal chest. You can throw items in there, and they won't go anywhere. But we still have all our companions with us. This is like our little hub area, at least for the time being.
I'm off.
And as we step out, we get stopped by Anivia. She'll basically tell us that there's a real chance of attack. Now, this is important because that's literal. If you basically take too long in doing things while you're trying to get defenses together, Defender's Heart, which is this tavern and the little outside area as well, will actually be attacked, and you'll have to defend that off to keep from losing, basically. Now, you can actually lose that fight and the game still continue, but you just have to not die. But just some information there. Now, Staunton can give us the location of the storyteller that we're looking for. He was last seen at a library, the Blackwing Library. Now, Staunton is the reason that a town named Dresden, north of here, fell, because he was like corrupted by that Lilitu demon, as you probably saw with that dialogue. Now, we can talk to everyone else. This is a good chance to talk to your companions and catch up with them if you want. Horgus Worm owes us some money for getting us out of the caverns. 2k instead of 1 because we negotiated more. And he'll have another task for us, which is basically to go clear out his mansion so he can get his stuff back. We can try to pass a diplomacy check to, again, double the reward. This one's actually a pretty rough check, though, so, you know. Oh, we succeeded. That's nice. Oh, got a nat 20. That's what's up. Alright, so... Again, he just wants us to clear out his house so he can get his stuff back, which pays pretty well, and will give us some more loot. Now this guy is just the innkeeper, whatever you want to call it. He sells a couple of decent magic items here. Nothing crazy, but he also sells like potions and stuff. And is a pretty good place to sell all your junk. Now, if you hit bulk selling down here, by the way, this is fairly recent, so I don't know if people know about this. Other is basically all junk items, and then you can click non-magical and masterwork stuff, and then if you click bulk selling with that stuff clicked, it'll just automatically transfer it. It's like a sell junk option, basically. Give me just a second, guys. Okay. So, again, good way to clear that stuff out. All this masterwork doesn't do us any good. Nobody we have can use that stuff. Both of those are actually pretty high value later. Protection from evil and chaos, because that is basically 90% of what the demons are. Drop those. We'll keep these scrolls for right now. We're actually going to use those to bulk up our guys later. Can you exclude items from the bulk sell? In previous Pathfinder, I kept selling the emerald necklace by accident. No, as far as I know, it's just a kind of catch-all. It's just everything in that category. You'd have to pay attention to make sure you don't accidentally sell something specific. But I would say side quests similar to the emerald necklace aren't something that I've seen come up much. Sorry guys, my cat is harassing me to the side here. Alright, so that's pretty much everything we need to sell. Now, there is another vendor over here, which I would argue is much more important, especially if you're going to use Camilla or Ember. And he's like the scroll guy, but in addition to that, he sells this ring right here, which gives you cold resistance, but also if the wearer has the Ice Plant Hex, it gives them a +2 natural armor bonus to AC, in addition to the Ice Plant natural armor bonus that you get just from having the Ice Plant Hex, which effectively makes Ice Plant give you 4 AC instead of just 1. So that is very high value for Camilla, who can get the Ice Plant Hex, as well as Ember, who can also get it. So that is an item I would say you should definitely pick up if you're going to use those two before you leave this act. Those are very good. And then otherwise the guy just sells scrolls, which right now we can't really do much with. So, again, this is a good option to, or a good time rather, to talk to your companions. But we're going to pick up the rest of the quests. Hylor right here is actually the guy who you can recruit mercenaries from. He's with the Pathfinder Society. So it's gold based. It is pretty expensive, but you can get party members that way if you don't want to use the companions. And then Irabeth, if you talk to her, she'll just tell you more of the same if you try to talk to her again. But that is basically everybody here without talking to companions, which I don't really want to do because honestly, once you've heard it once, it gets a little repetitive. And I want to leave something for you guys to discover. So this Forn Autumn Maze guy, or Autumn Haze rather, this is a Kickstarter backer quest, but he'll give you a quest to track down an elf. Now if you press him, you can actually get the quest from him. And he'll tell you who he's hunting down, a Descarite by the name of Kaylessa. And you can basically insist to help. And then if you pass this knowledge world check, which is actually, again, a fairly difficult check this early on in the game, you can pick up on the fact that this woman sounds suspiciously like a drow. And then we're going to head to the basement. Is that a good backer quest? It seems good. I haven't seen the entirety of it. It's actually super long. And then we head to the basement to pick up Woljif, who is another one of our companions. Or at least start to pick him up, actually. You got to talk to a few people. So he keeps scaring his guards with his demon shadow, which I think is hilarious, honestly.
We do it my way.
Hey, Chief. Hey, Dreamboat, come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out!
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap. Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you.
What a load of guff!
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the queen. That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty looking gal, always wears on. I knew I could count on you.
Locked up for being a thief, basically. And if we go talk to Irabeth, we can have him freed and he'll join our party. And I highly recommend you do that because you have to do his little introductory quest, if you will, to pick up Finian, the talking weapon, which you definitely want to pick up, which requires you to help Woljif at least initially. Now I do want to mention, there is a puzzle in this room. And I don't remember offhand what the combination is, but there's 3 levers. And after you put them in the right spot, you have to hit this button that is behind that shield right there. But it'll only be pressable if you actually have the levers in the right spot. Now there's only 3 levers, so you can sit here and figure it out if you want. We're not going to spend time on it because honestly I don't offhand remember what the combination is. But there's that little puzzle for you. Because you might see the levers and then not realize you have to take that shield off the wall to get that button. And now we're going to head outside. Now out here is a smith who can sell you weapons and things if you are still in need of one. Joran Vane, who is actually Staunton's brother, if you pay attention. Moreover, if you picked up radiance from the shield maze, you can talk to him to show it to him. And he'll agree to make a new sheath for it, which you will actually get later on. Not for a while. And chapter 3, I believe, is actually when you get it. But it's important to do that part because otherwise you won't actually get the sheath later. Foxy Foxlin asks, have you done a Ranger build video for this game yet? I know you posted some, but not watched them yet. No, not for Ranger yet. And then Benjamin White asks, is this the newest release in Pathfinder, correct? And for the video games, yeah. Alright, now, again, he's a smith, so he sells a bunch of unique weapons and things. As well as items, so you can get some cool stuff from him if you really want to.
I'm off.
And that is pretty much it as far as stuff to do. We'll go talk to Irabeth and get Woljif freed real quick. And then I believe we need to level up too, actually. So there's a Tiefling chained up, and then we can just ask her about it, and she'll agree to let him go if you need him, because, you know, the city's being attacked by demons, so someone being locked up for being a petty thief isn't exactly high priority at the moment.
Well, Chief, what do you got for... You must be a smooth talker.
You're sure to regret this.
You're a bitter little... And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call Thieflings. We just call ourselves the family. After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that Big Sister Charisme wanted to see me. That she had some questions to ask me. You following? Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljif, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljif, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go, I'll show you the way.
Alright, so as we just learned, he wants us to go solve a problem for his little thief group and keep him out of trouble, which again leads us to Finian the talking weapon, so highly recommend you do that. Moreover, it's time to leave the Defender's Heart after we level up.
I must.
Alright, so... we have 2 in mobility, so we can take duelist later, because that's required. And then next we will pick up Slashing Grace, I think, actually. Hold on, let me back up, make sure... we have to pick up specific feats for duelist. I want to make sure we grab those first. Yeah, dodge and combat mobility. And then we should be able to pick up Slashing Grace through the bonus feats that we'll eventually get. But Slashing Grace is pretty good. So we'd put our dueling sword, or whatever our chosen weapon is for this. We'll double it up basically. And then when we're wielding that weapon, it's treated as one-handed piercing, even if it's not, for all the feats and class abilities that require such a weapon, such as a Duelist Precise Strike, because we're going to take Duelist later, so it all kind of compounds. Or we could take Piranha Strike, but right now, we're going to pick up Dodge, actually, because that's going to give us a little extra AC, on top of the fact that we need it to pick up Duelist to begin with a little later on. And then we can pick up some Magus Arcana, think we're gonna just go arcane accuracy. Then for spells, we've pretty much already got everything we want from level 1, so this isn't super important. We're gonna pick up magic, weapon, and color spray. Alright, for her, we're gonna put another level into colluding scoundrel. We'll pick we can pick up Boon Companion, but her companion's only one level behind her anyway, so it's not super important. I think what we're going to do instead is give her... I'm thinking... Rapid shot. Yeah, deadly aim, there it is. I was like, it's deadly something. Alright. And then she gets to pick up a companion thing for her head as well. And then she gets a couple extra. We're going to have her pick up... I'm thinking Cure Light Wounds, actually. Benjamin asks, it's still beta? Yeah, it's still beta. The full game's not out till the 2nd of September. Ryan Phillips asks, are there racial archetype for ASMR in the game yet? I saw there were special race specific for the Sorcerer kit soon, and curious what ASMR got. I'm pretty sure there's an ASMR one. Offhand, I don't remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure there is. Alright. And then there's Camilla. She just makes a really good shaman. Like, they set her up to be pretty effective, just the way she is. Pretty sure she already has... Yeah, so she already has weapon finesse. So we can pick up... Probably dodge or piranha strike is what I'd want to go with. I think I'm going to go piranha strike, actually. Which will turn off her automatic leveling, but I don't care at all about that. So she uses a rapier, so that's definitely affected by this. And she also gets a bunch more of her shaman spells. And we'll level up Wind Oove's companion. I want to say he's claws. Yeah, so you get to level up and give your your animal companions feats and everything. I want to say Talon. Yeah, it's Talon. Why did I think it was Claw? Is that Claw? Yeah, it's just Claw, right? Yeah. Alright. For Sela, we're just going to go with her automatic leveling. I don't really like Paladins all that much, and I don't plan on using her too often, to be honest. Having the Mercy for Fatigue can be super handy in certain situations, though. Alright, so that's everybody leveled up, and really all we need to do now is head out and do other stuff. Which I think we'll do Woljif's thing. That's usually what I do first. Oh, they're his. Said I identified something over here in the chat log, and I was like, I didn't identify anything, and then it's just something Woljif is wearing. So Woljif is a rogue eldritch scoundrel. He should be okay, level 1 there. So let's get all of our spells sorted out. I think I'm gonna drop magic missiles. I don't care at all about that. We'll pick up 2 things of true strike and an extra thing of shield. And we're on normal, so this isn't like be-all, end-all or anything, so it's not that important, but we'll get them sorted out real quick. Hunters get spontaneous casting, so I don't actually have to set anything for her. Camilla, we need to set her stuff, though. Which primarily, gonna use her to heal. Then her domain slot builds strength. Sela doesn't get any spellcasting until, I believe, level 4 as a paladin. We'll add Woljif to party. Is Wendy a good hunter? How are her mental stats? Offhand, I'll just show you guys her stats. They're okay. She gets okay wisdom. Like, she's not going to get a ton of spells. She does have crazy dex, though, so that's pretty good. And then hunters don't have, like, the most amazing spell list in the world anyway. So I just personally like to give her a few of these. But with that out of the way, let's go to Woljif's thing, which is up here just north of us. Luckily, in this first act, nothing takes a lot of time to travel to, which is important because time is of the essence. Alright, then we can walk in and talk to Kirsay. Her resume, whatever it is. So basically, they got caught trying to steal something, and she's trying to find the culprit who she believes to be one of the members of the Thieflings. Now, we can just kill them all, which I wouldn't recommend doing. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. But basically, we can kind of mediate this dispute and help Woljif track down the person who actually tipped off the Thieves Guild, if you will. But what they were after is the Moon of the Abyss, which is the thing they were trying to steal. It's an amulet that they were trying to steal from a shop, the Ancient Trees and Wonders. So basically, you're given the task to go to this shop and see if you can't find any clues to who actually betrayed the Thieflings. Now, the reason I don't recommend killing them is because you need to go to that shop to pick up Finian, the talking weapon. So you need to do that part to get it marked on your map. And then when we come back, there'll actually be a little more for this as well. Atreus asks what class job is Windoog. Normally she's just a fighter. I have her picked up as a colluding scoundrel hunter though. Now, in order to do anything first, we need to go talk to Irabeth about the Thieflings and what happened, because she arrested a bunch of them because they were tipped off. Irabeth was tipped off to what they were doing. So we gotta go talk to Irabeth real quick. Which, truthfully, I wish they would just do this part while you were having what's-his-name freed to begin with. That way you didn't have to come right back. But doing that reveals the shop on your map.
I'm gone.
Okay, so the shop is right over here. And right under this bookshelf, we can encounter Finian. So, Finian is a soul, apparently, trapped in a sword that still thinks he's very much so alive. He has like a whole little side quest. He's like considered a mini companion, and doing his quest will like power him up as a weapon. But as a weapon, he can be anything you need him to be. Like anything you have proficiency in. So once you have him with you, all you gotta do is click this button. You can either use this to talk to him or turn him into whatever, again, weapon that the character you are using has proficiency in. I made a whole video about this. So we're gonna use Dueling Sword, which is gonna give us more damage, and also the cold iron and stuff, which is especially effective against the demons nearby. Now, the nice thing about Finian is that will keep at least one of your characters from having to deal with finding a really cool weapon and not being able to use it. So that way if you spec into something, you'll have at the very least Finian to use. But we are here trying to root out the Thiefling's betrayer, if you will. In order to do that, we can talk to this golem on the ground. Now, the password is Hand of Aurori. I don't know where you're supposed to learn that offhand, but I know that for a fact that's what it is. So, the shop owner created him or whatever, or at least bought him, and then we can ask about suspicious people that came in, potentially the person who betrayed the Thieflings. He saw 3 of them. We can ask for descriptions of them. And we can also ask where his master is, which is below him. We have to basically move him to clear the path to the basement.
Stupid thing. Anything for you.
Which will let us talk to the owner of the shop,
We do it
who can shed some more light on this. Now, we can pass a bluff or intimidate check. Both of them are about the same DC, though. We can also kill this person at any time, but obviously that doesn't help what we're trying to do very much.
I am helpful, am I not?
And that's all the information we need, and now we can head back to the Thiefling's hideout to sort this business out.
What's on your mind? I wonder.
Okay, so I actually recommend saving before this conversation, because we can point out the person who actually betrayed them to Erebeth or whatever, which is Melrune, if you actually go through all like the who did what kind of thing. Because he has red hair, the green cloak, straight horns, so it's definitely him. And he threatens you by a bunch of demons, so that seems to check out. But after this is done and they kill the guy for betraying them, you will have a conversation option here. So Now, that said, the Moon of the Abyss or whatever was gone. So Melrune is the person who betrayed them, but the amulet that he supposedly took off with is still missing. Now, we can ask basically what they're going to do and everything, but Woljif demands an apology, and then if we pass this diplomacy check, which we did not, she'll actually apologize, but moreover, she'll give us a key to the vault that's back here. And she'll actually leave what's in it, because if you don't pass that diplomacy check,
there's something here.
You can still get back here. However, all the good stuff will be gone.
I hope you appreciate this.
So normally, I mean, this is a street, so it's not that big a deal, but there's actually a really cool ring that you can get for Woljif, especially, by doing that, by passing that diplomacy check. Alternatively, you could just kill everyone, but the problem with that is that if you do that, you don't get Finian the talking weapon because you won't learn the location of the shop. So kind of a bit of a trade-off there. So it's a way to guarantee that you get to loot the vault, but then you wouldn't get Finian, who is much more high value. So just something to think about while you're doing that, I suppose. All right, and then our next stop is the Tower of Estrod, all the way down here. Alex Washington says he's late. What class are you running? Right now, a Magus Sword Saint. We're gonna go into Duelist later on, though.
We are the light. They are the darkness.
First, we gotta get through this random encounter. Not that that should be that big of a deal. So all these little locations that are like fallen horse or hanged person, that kind of stuff, it's just a place where you can get like ingredients for stuff, for like recipes and things. They're not really worth exploring. Like they don't give you anything great. Unless you just really want the items. But it takes time to search those places, and again, in this particular act, you're definitely up against a clock against when the Defender Heart gets attacked. It won't cost you anything, so like don't think of it too much as a hard timer. But you get a reward if you can do all this before the Defender Heart gets attacked, but otherwise it plays out the same way, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But my point is that searching those takes time. Now, we see all these spirits when we walk into the Tower of Estrod. Finally, one of them will wind up attacking you.
I'll rip you apart!
And then she'll disappear. Now, again, I would recommend making a save right here. But we'll be stopped by a guy scouting out the area already, which remember, technically what we're here for is a scouting mission on the cultist activity in the area. Martyr asked what difficulty we're playing on. This is just normal. So we'll see the cultists here arguing. Faxon and Kylus. One of them is the leader of the Deskari cultists, and the other one is the leader of the Baphomet cultists. Yeah! Laine says, greetings from the Ukraine. That's awesome, man. Okay. So the cultists will have a little fight. One of them will lose, and then it kind of pans back to you.
Right
so
now. But tower is the main stronghold of the Templars of the Ivory Labyrinth and their allies. Going up against that many of them would be suicide. I have a better idea.
So this is Gravor. He's not a companion right this second, but later on in Chapter 3, he can be recruited as a companion.
If the demons and their mortal agents were better organized, the Crusaders would have been crushed long before now. But they're always trying to spread in every direction. Right now, in every corner of the city, there are demons like Kylus who are trying to consolidate their forces to launch a joint attack on the Defender's heart. Don't even think about trying to take them all on single-handed. You'll be mincemeat. Better to warn the Crusaders in the Defender's heart that the demons are planning to attack. And later, once the attackers have been taken care of, it'll be much easier to sweep through this tower and eliminate the Defenders left behind.
Like when dueling with rapiers. One doesn't lunge, but waits for the opponent to strike and leave themselves open.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Or like in cards, wait for your opponent to play his hand, and then dive under the table, grab the pot, and run.
I hope you...
Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So several people, Gravor, Irabeth will tell you, do not attack these people right now. Gravor will actually mention waiting until the Defender's Heart is attacked, and then coming back to clear out the Tower of Estrod after that, when in theory there would be less demons and stuff here. So that said, it is very possible to actually clear these guys out. Now we're going to check who has the highest mobility. I want to say it's probably, yeah, Woljif.
This is my kind of work.
Alright, so the trick here is to be very careful. So all of the demons are right here. And there's actually two things you can use to clear out quite a few of them in one go. The easiest one to get to is this right here. So we're going to put everyone in stealth.
One with the shadows.
And send whoever has the highest athletics over here to push this, which should be Windu, yeah. So she'll activate that, which will actually kill several of these guys. But Gravor will use that opportunity to come in and kill one of these dudes as well. Now, because of line of sight, there's actually a real chance even then you still won't be actually under attack yet. Which means if you have a sneaky character, you can potentially sneak all the way up and around to the other side and actually set off the other trap as well. Which I believe, I don't remember offhand where that one is, but I know it's over there. Truthfully though, I think we're just gonna move everybody down here and attack, because it's just normal. Steph says, I wandered with wisdom right into this. That's pretty funny. And then Nicholas says, hi, greetings from Argentina. Have an idea about the performance. In terms of like the performance of the game, it seems pretty solid. I mean, obviously you can see it right here. This is, I have an RTX 2080 Ti, so fairly high end as far as graphics cards goes. But for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. Haven't really had any frame rate drops or anything. Okay.
I will help where
So, Woljif needs to cast his mage armor, otherwise he will get destroyed.
Yes. A bright future awaits us.
I'm always ready.
We'll go ahead and throw shield on our guy as well. And then we'll start this off by having her use Hurricane Bow and attacking Faxon.
They'll beg me to stop.
And the rest of these guys are gonna go all in on this dude.
Tear your throat out.
Oh wow, she crit that guy in the face. Jesus. Nice.
Go for their heart!
Okay, so a lot of demons there. That guy is especially dangerous, but luckily Windoog just crit that dude right in the face. He died almost immediately because she crit him for like 31. So even then, as you can see, still a dangerous fight even once you've removed all those obstacles. But the reason you want to do that, like right here, even when like all advice is telling you not to, is because you want to get down into this little dungeon right here, because it has some amazing items down there that we're now going to be able to pick up. Now oh yeah, there's the other trap, by the way, that you could just knock that over and that'll catch this side and then that'll go that. So in theory, you could potentially sneak and hit both those traps and have very little to deal with.
No reason to pause.
But with that in mind, we're gonna heal everybody up real quick by spamming potions. All right. So that leads us down here, where we will be met by a cultist. Now, we can attack right away, or we can start asking questions. Basically, some of the leaders of the cultists and the demons sent them here, the Tower of Estrod, to collect relics. Now, no matter what you do, he winds up choking on a piece of paper. You can help him, kill him outright, or watch him gasp for breath, which is a very evil thing to do. But he pretty much dies regardless. Not the brightest bulb. We can also read up some of his stuff. Now, again, they were here to steal all of the relics and stuff. I don't know that clearing these guys out right now affects the attack on Defender's Heart at all. But
I am helpful, am I not?
This way, we don't have to wait until that happens, which means we can get all of these items down here. Specifically, one very in particular item. This right here. Which is Lady Calandra's Chain Shirt, which gives a 6 base armor class as well as +4 maximum dex bonus. So we can give that to Windoog, and now she has an armor class of 23 as opposed to 18, and then it will give her 1 extra, which I think is honestly the way to go. 21, yeah, and then we can move her, so that'll be a little better than the padded armor by a lot, actually. So that's pretty good. And that heavy mace of fire we can sell because we don't have anybody who's using a mace.
Helpful, am I not?
All right, and this room has a bunch of these traps.
What do we have here? You can trust me. I hope you appreciate this. I am helpful, am I not? I am helpful, am I not?
And then in here we can find some more magic items and just some useful stuff.
I hope you appreciate this.
Including that longbow, and also some magic essence. Magic essence is actually very important. You need 5 of them before you leave this act, 3 of which can be found in the Grey Garrison. But you should definitely get 5 of those for reasons we'll talk about later. And we can also pick up this entrapping longbow, which is going to be amazing for her because she's using longbows.
I'm off.
And then the last room has the museum custodian, Teldon, in it, who's gone a little bit bananas. Now, you can attack him or send him to the Defender's Heart or just generally ask him some questions, but he won't really tell you anything you don't already know. And then we can loot the place. And that's pretty much all there is to do there. And we will return to Irabeth, who will give us a reward for having cleared this place out. Because that was one of our quests. So back to Defender's Heart we go. Now in this particular act, I actually would recommend you try to avoid resting as much as possible, because resting of course advances time. And this act is kind of a race against that attack on Defender's Heart for an extra reward.
Let me draw the first blood.
I'm gone.
Okay, and then talk to Irabeth. And there we go. We get some experience and that clears that out.
We do it my way.
And now is as good a time as any to sell some of the junk that we've been collecting. We're never going to need that because we don't have anybody who's going to use a mace. We'll go ahead and sell that as well. Bring this up to 6K, and then real quick, we will go through these and see what spells we can learn from our scrolls before we sell a bunch of those as well. Woljif should be able to learn a decent chunk of these. I don't believe she can learn any of them now, but I don't think you can either because you're a shaman. Alright, sweet. Now we sell all those. Except the ones we might want. Bless and Bane we'll get rid of. Never gonna use those. Good. Leave that just in case. Grease. Roll of Doom. Mind Favor's not that great. We'll keep the light wounds. Cause fear. Actually, we'll keep prayer. That might come in handy. Protection from good and the law isn't gonna help us out much, because most of the demons are enemies. Alright, and then there's all that junk cleared out. And unfortunately, our characters are fatigued, so we won't rest just yet.
Follow if you dare.
We'll actually go to the next place and then rest there instead. Well, actually, just he's fatigued. The rest of them seem okay, but they'll probably be fatigued by the time we reach the next spot. ASMR asked, wasn't there a patch in beta where scrolls you could learn were highlighted? At least I thought so. Not that I'm aware of. Not gonna say it's impossible though. Merrick says, I wish they made a button called mass copy or Smith's copy all scrolls. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, it'd be nice for sure. Would not complain about that. Alright, so our next spot that we have to go to is the market square, because you can't start looking over here until you go to the market square and basically make a path across the big gap in the city that Discaria caused when he hit the ground. So you have to go like sort of way across that. So now that we've got all that stuff done, we can head to Market Square and do that. Can you say something about story? I was hoping for something a little more interesting than just a demon attack. Yeah, it picks up. You wind up leading the crusade, which is part of the marketing materials, so you start a crusade against the demons of the world wound. This is just Act 1, and then the next attack you start leading that, or the next act rather, you start leading that crusade against the demons. And then it kind of there's a mystery behind the scenes that kind of unfolds that I'm not going to spoil, but it does get much more interesting if this by itself isn't enough for you. Alright, so our next spot is Market Square, but that said, this is probably where I'm going to go ahead and save and cut out for the day. I actually have a couple errands I've got to run, and I've still got to edit a video for tomorrow. So, we're going to save and call it. But, hope everybody enjoyed the stream. If you did, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, as I like to say. But honestly, truly, just thank you guys. A lot of people have been showing a ton of support and giving a lot of feedback about the quality of the streams and everything. So remember, if you have any feedback about that kind of stuff, leave it down in the comments section below. I absolutely do read that stuff. So again, just thank you everybody for watching, just showing up for the support. Honestly, just thank you guys. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.